right, Shalom. Shalom, this is your brother Issachar coming back at you for another lesson. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Okrak Badash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the 144,000 scattered across the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you. Alright, in today's lesson, we're gonna go into, you gotta use, good judgment out here, and you gotta use wisdom. You gotta be circumspect out here. You can't just be out here, you can't just be out here, just being simple. So, and that comes too with the walk in your own walk, and also too when you look at when you judge brothers and sisters in the faith. So you gotta remember to be spiritual, but when you go through things, just make sure that to be spiritual about it, and to be spiritual about it, and to make sure that you judge righteous judgment. So that's something that I just wanted to go into today. The Spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai was kind of want me to go into that. So I'm just gonna go into that a little bit today, just to kind of just for for those of you coming to the faith and to the truth, just be real careful when, especially when there's somebody in the truth who's a believer, because this is why the scriptures say, woe unto them that offend one of the little ones, so just remember that, just keep that in mind, also, when you're out there in the world, and I'll get into that, but let's get into it. The book of Psalms, chapter 2, and verse 2, verse 10. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Right. So be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. So be wise. Also when you're among the 2/3 and just among, when we say people of the world, it's just because they're not in the faith. Because some people, hey, you gotta remember, those of you that been around for a while, you already know what we're talking about. But remember, there's always new members in this thing. So when we say, people in the world, the newcomer might be like, well, what are they talking about? Okay, well, when the prophets say people in the world, okay, it just means that those people who are not, who haven't woken up, So they're still. It's just like how we were. Okay, remember before we woke up, we were in the world, and so some of you might be like, what are you talking about? We're all in the world, Okay, it just means that, because yes, we're all in this, in the planet Earth, but it just means that you haven't been woken up yet, because, remember, here's a good example right here. Remember that movie, The Matrix? Okay, because he was in the Matrix, right? In that realm and all that, Remember? And then until Morpheus and them, woke him up, alright, then he realized what it really was. See? It's just like those of you in the truth, because you didn't even know, you thought that you were just black, just Hispanic, Mexican, just so-called Native American Indian. You had no idea that you were an Israelite, that these elites are truly your enemy, that they're satanic worshipers and all that. See, because you haven't been woken up yet. See, so that's what we mean by in the world, because before you're woken up to this thing, you didn't know that you're an Israelite. You didn't really know about the bankers and all that. See, because until you're woken up, then okay, yeah, See, all right, but it's until then. This stuff. So that's why it's, we say in the world, okay, people that are in the world, because it's just people who haven't been you know, woken up yet. You know, just like how we were. You know, we were just in the world. You know, thinking that this was the end all, be all. You know, like because before you're woken up to the truth, you know, you're not really waiting on the Lord. You know, it's just you know how it is. Those of you out there before you came into this thing. All right, so that's what you know the prophets, the teachers mean by someone in the world. Just for those of you that are coming new to this thing, just to give a thorough explanation of what that means. See? All right, Psalms 2:10. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Right, because be wise. Yeah, so that's even going also into the 2/3. All right, because don't just don't just go around and just because someone's not in the truth, it doesn't really give you the green light to treat someone like crap, unless they're like they're being a prick to you. Then yeah, you can defend yourself, or you handle it accordingly, right? But just because, remember, people haven't woken up yet doesn't give you the green light just to wake, just to walk around like, yeah, and just kind of treat people however you want. All right, remember, because that's you gotta consider yourself like very lucky, and consider yourself blessed, because there's billions of people out there, and you can see, for those of you that are of the hopeful elect out there, because this truth is very precious, so don't take it for granted, because the Lord can take out that light in your candlestick, so just be very grateful for it. There's a time and place for everything. When there's a scoffer, okay, that's when it's time. But remember, just because you're in the truth, just don't go around treating people like, oh yeah, just treating people like crap just because they haven't been woken up yet. All right, remember, we were all like that before the Lord woke us up. See, so just kind of you gotta always keep yourself in check. Always just remember that, because you gotta know the difference between when Satan comes and messes with you, and when you make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? So you have to make that, you got to make that decision. You got to know that that judgment. You got to make that call between, okay, is it just Satan messing with me, or did I mess up? Did I ask the right questions? What's going on here, rather than just something happened and then right away, oh, that's just Satan, and that's just let's just put curses on this person. Wait a minute, what if you didn't ask the right questions? So sometimes you got to kind of check out the situation, see things for what it is, rather than just kind of, just right away, just, blaming Satan. Because sometimes it's not Satan, sometimes it's you. Okay, sometimes it's you just making a mistake, and a lot of times, brothers would just right away think that, oh, it's Satan, and just, let's just put curses on this demon. This person just kind of, has it out for me, when you haven't checked it out. Because it's true, sometimes it is that, sometimes it is Satan, and there are demons out there, agents. You guys know the deal. But sometimes it's us. Sometimes you make a mistake and you don't even think that it's you. Right away you just think, oh yeah, it's Satan, or it's this dude being a demon or something, when it's not even true. See? All right, because sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. So that's why you gotta judge righteous judgment, and see what's going on before you actually make that decision. So just stay in the spirit. Just stay in the spirit, and just be wise. Psalms 2:10. Be wise now, therefore, all ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Right, so be wise, ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Judges of the earth. See? Judges of the earth, because why? You know, the Israelites are going to rule the earth next. See? Ye judges of the earth. Ye kings. See? Because we're all kings and priests after the order of Melchizedek. Yeah. You know? What happened here? Let's see, kind of bugged out. Let's see. Alright, verse 11. Serve the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai with fear and rejoice with trembling. See that? Psalms 2:11. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. See? So rejoice, serve the Lord with fear. So right, you know, don't be all proud and puffed up and, oh yeah, that's right, I'm an Israelite, and yeah, that's right, you know, forget the heathen and just start walking around treating people like shit, you know? No. Alright, remember, you gotta walk with, you know, have integrity about yourself and some dignity, you know? Yes, there's always a time and place for that, when there's scoffers and stuff like that, when you're like, damn, this person is a demon. Yes, you do have those situations. But remember, just because you woken up that you're an Israelite doesn't give you the green light to walk around like IUIC. Look at these clowns, you know? Look at these clowns, you know? They truly think that, remember, we're still in captivity, you know? These dudes are going way too far, you know? These dudes are taking it way too far. But just remember that, okay? So, you know, when you're in the world, you know, even like when you approach a heathen, you know, hey, still, you know, have manners about yourself, you know? Hey, even if there's a heathen, don't just slam the door and be like, oh, fuck this heathen, you know? Let me just close the door on them. No, hold the door for them, you know? Have some manners about yourself, you know? You gotta carry yourself a certain way in this walk. See, it's not just, oh, I'm an Israelite, yeah, that's right, fuck the heathen, you know, fucking, you're going to slavery and, you know, being all stupid, all right? You Israelites out there that are doing that, you guys gotta cut that shit out, you know? Unless someone's being a demon or something like that, then, you know, okay. You know, but, you know, you gotta, you know, Yahushua wasn't doing that. You know, he talked to the heathen. Remember that woman at the well? All right, he wasn't just, oh yeah, just you're a heathen. No, you know, you talk to the heathen accordingly, you know? Because the Lord is gonna judge them. You're not the Lord. Remember that, okay? And, you know, remember, we're still paying for sins that we committed in our past life, and the Lord's judging us as a nation. So remember that, you know? And remember, the heathen, they're ruling right now because the Lord gave them that time. So right now, they're still in their hour, you know? So they're not just ruling because, oh, they're just you know, they just overpowered us. The Lord gave them this time. So this is their time to rule. So you got to remember that at the same time. Yes, they're going into slavery next, you know, but you got to remember, this is their hour. Okay, the Lord gave them this. This is the Lord gave them this kingdom. So this is their hour right now, you know. So when you go around the heathen and stuff like that, you know, hey, you know, treat them accordingly, you know, have manners about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Carry yourself a certain way. You know, don't just go out there being a total asshole. You know, yeah, you don't really supposed to be involved with a lot of people in this world. But when you do go out, carry yourself good. You know, just people in the world should have nothing bad to say about you. You know, like, oh, this fucking guy, you know, or this woman. Because that goes to the daughters of Israel as well. To the women out there, you know, that are believers. You know, don't just be out here, you know, oh yeah, and then, you know, start treating the heathen like shit. You know. Because they should have nothing to say bad about you, you know, like, oh, damn, you know, you should be clean, you know, when you go out, you know, pick up your trash. You got to carry yourself a certain way in this thing, you know? Remember, it's not just, oh, yeah, I'm an Israelite, yeah, that's right, fuck the heathen, yeah, we got next, haha. No, you know, you gotta, you know, stop it, you know, cut it out, you know? Let me find out, huh? All right. But, you know, you have to carry yourself a certain way in this thing. Psalms chapter 2 and verse 11. Serve the Lord Yahushai with fear and rejoice with trembling. Right. See? because you gotta have fear in the Lord. Because still, just because you woken up that you're an Israelite doesn't mean that you're one of the elect. You know, you're over here celebrating for no reason. Over here, like, yeah. How do you know you're gonna make it out of here? Let's hear it. You know. So a lot of you out here, you know, rejoicing like, hey, you know, like, how do you know that you're gonna make it out of here? See, you know, none of us know. So that's just something right there that just a a quick FYI, you know, to let you know, you shouldn't, shit, don't celebrate yet, you know, because we're not out of the woods yet, Jack. Remember that we still gotta go through a lot of stuff, a lot. Okay, we're talking about heavy betrayals, persecutions. Okay, a lot of brothers and sisters are gonna go into prisons and to all that. It's prophecy. All right, why do you think the Lord was so serious when He was on the scene? Okay, He wasn't out there just celebrating. Yeah, He would drink wine and stuff like that, but you know, He would do it among Himself, and there's a time and place for everything. You know, He's not just out there just, you know, He wasn't just out here at, you know, like the Israelites, just out here in the clubs and all that, just being a total buffoon. See, you know. You see that? So, you know, there's a time and place for everything, but there's a way to do it, you know? Because, of course, you know, you can drink wine and have a little alcohol if you want, you know, but you just, you know, not supposed to be out here mingling among the masses, you know? I mean, when you go to, like, the malls and stuff like that, shopping centers and all that, yeah, you know, that's different. But, but other than that, you know, you're not really supposed to be just like out here, you know, like clubbing and stuff like that, you know? You see? Okay, so right here's serve the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai with fear and rejoice with trembling. See? Rejoice with trembling. Because yeah, you know, the scriptures say the elect shall scarcely be saved. We'll get that next. Verse 12. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are they that put their trust in him. Yeah, so yeah, you know, you gotta, not only is it just believing this thing, but you gotta, you can't just talk the talk, but you gotta walk the walk. You know, you can't just be a Saturday Israelite, you know? You gotta really, rehearse the righteous acts. Okay, you have to really walk this thing, you know. You have to really believe in this thing, not just, you know, let me see here, bear with me. Yeah, what happened here? Let me see real fast, Lakia. Let me get this one here. 1 sec. Lakia. Salakia, bear with me. I'm just trying to get this going because the other app is kind of tripping out a little bit. Bear with me. Here we go. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 18 and 19. Okay, right here. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 18 and 19, just to kind of, prove the point. Verse 18, if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Right, because remember, it ain't gonna be no easy walk. All right, remember. So that's why that word, oh, to be saved means that, to be saved means that, to be saved means that, you know, to be rescued. And we haven't even went through martial law yet. The famine. All right, World War III. Remember that draft is gonna hit. You've seen, if you guys been watching, you've seen that Russia, China, and North Korea, they're showing their unity to show you. Remember, they're gonna. Those nations have millions of sleeper cells in America already. All right, and not only that, they're gonna invade America as well. So remember, there's gonna be big all-out war out here. A civil war, because you're gonna have Americans versus Americans. Facts. Because remember, not everybody's down with the New World Order. There's a lot of people who are gonna fight back against the elites. You're gonna have a lot going on here. People fighting for food, survival. All right, because you're not always gonna have this internet available, these cell phones. All this is about to be cut off. Okay, your internet access and your cell phones. All this is about to be cut off. Okay, the only people who might have access to stuff like that is like high military intelligence, and military. But other than that, you're not gonna really have these luxuries, You see? So it's something to, think about. Okay, it's something to think about, because you're not always gonna have, these luxuries and this comfort. All right, so if the righteous scarcely be saved, this is 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 18. If the righteous scarcely be saved, right? Because the righteous are still gonna go through it. Because remember, the elect are gonna be protected, but you're still gonna go through it. Okay, it's kind of like when like, this is just an example for people when they go to college, for 4 or 5 years for their bachelor's degree, their their master's degree or whatever. Okay, so right now, so the Lord's saying, you're gonna graduate, but you still got to go through all the tests. It's like the students when they go to college, So it's like their parents saying, you're gonna graduate, like, but you still got to go through the test. You got to put the blood, sweat, and tears in. You got to study. See. So that's this is something that this is something that this is something that the righteous out there, you got to understand, because you're gonna make it, but you still got to go through tests. You still got to go through it. See, it ain't just like, oh yeah, we got it, hey, we're good. No. Okay, remember, it's a fight. Remember, you have to examine thyself to make sure you're in the spirit. And not only that, but remember, because you're gonna go through it. If the righteous scarcely be saved, so the righteous scarcely be saved, because they're gonna be going through it at the same time. Where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Verse 19. Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of the Most High Yahweh, okay, commit the keeping of their souls to Him in well-doing, as unto a faithful Creator. All right, so let me get one more precept here. Here we go. There we go. Right here. Damn. See here? Acts chapter 14 verse 22. Hey. Here we go. Let me see here. There we go. There it is. Okay, Acts chapter 14 verse 22. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, pay attention, through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. One more time. Acts chapter 14 verse 22. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. See? So you got to continue in the faith. That, because it's a constant fight, because you got to continue, you got to maintain. And that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of. So it's a must, because the Lord's really gonna test. Okay, the Lord's really gonna test His elect. So through much tribulation, okay. So it's a must. You see that? It's a must. Tribulation. There it is. Bam. So let's get that definition, that word tribulation. Okay, check it out. All right, right here. So it said a must. So all the elect are gonna go through troubles. We're all gonna be tested. Lord willing, I'm part of that hopeful elect and can receive mercy from the Lord. See? So this is something you gotta keep back in your mind. So remember, it's not just, oh yeah, I'm an Israelite. Yeah, I made it. Yeah, that's right. Fuck the heathen. Hey, fucking white people and fucking nah. Hey, you carry yourself a certain manner, because just because you know that you're an Israelite doesn't mean that you're gonna make it out of here. Okay? All right. Remember that. See? So right here, a cause of great trouble or suffering, because you're going to suffer. You're going to go through it. Okay? The elect are going to make it, but you're still going to go through, look at, a cause of great trouble. See? Because we still got to go through all that. All right? Yes, brothers and sisters are going to go to concentration camps. Remember that. All right? This ain't no just, cakewalk, where everything's just all peaches and cream and, nah. You gotta remember that. Okay? So some more words here for tribulation: trouble, worry, anxiety, burden, affliction. See? Hardship. Setbacks, because you're gonna have setbacks. It's just the way it is. Problems, bad luck. See? Bad luck, difficulty, misery, unhappiness, sadness. See? Travails, agony. Because it says that it's a must. So the elect are going to go through all those hardships and all that. That doesn't mean that you're going to be destroyed. That doesn't mean that the Lord is not dealing with you. But because the Lord is going to give His children so much, but you have to earn it. You have to go through something. The Lord's not just going to give you nothing without you fighting for it. It's kind of like that college degree, or when you go to a trade school or whatever, to be a mechanic or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you want to go to school to be a cook, you know what I'm saying? All right, you have to go to school. You got to do something to kind of earn that degree or that certificate. Let's say you want to be a barber, let's say you want to be a bartender. You got to go to school, to kind of earn that certificate. See? It may not be that hard, a little bit, but, you got to do something for that certificate. Okay, so the Lord's going to have His elect go through that stuff. Okay, go through certain trials. Because we're about to really inherit immortality, power, and dominion over the heathen, everlasting rulership. See? Some brothers and sisters are going to go through more, because there's different levels to this thing. But the main thing is, you're going to go through it. So no one should be proud or puffed up in this thing. You see? Because at the end of the day, the Lord don't need none of us. See? And we all have committed sins of worthy of death. See? So this is why, just carry yourself a certain way when you're out there, even among people in this world, unless, they give you attitude or something happens, where you have to kind of defend yourself or tell them something back, then, someone cuts you off or does something stupid, okay, within reason, but you know what I'm talking about. But don't just be out there and be a complete, like a moron, use discernment, carry yourself a certain way out here, because remember, none of us don't know if we're going to make it out of here, so that's it on today's lesson on, judge righteous judgment. So with that, on your feet, soldier, stay strong, stay in the spirit, and let no one take you off your path. Just stay on the path, focus on the Lord. Shalom.